Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show for what is it, March 11th, 2025. And I am Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. Just making sure we got audio. Sorry, didn't time it. What's my just ticking it up a little bit more. There we go. That's better. All right. Alrighty. And my financial content you can find by just scrolling past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. Today is 897. Not that many yet. 497. And so 500 will be on Friday if everything works according to plan. Answering your financial questions playlist as well. So there's over 800 hours of me telling people they're doing it wrong and explaining how. And the music playlist, 11 Ramsey adjacent songs, and at least one new one debuting on Friday. And so Friday, for the 500th celebration, I'm going to be doing all of the songs in that playlist, plus another one or two new ones. Fun times. Because if I do one, the copyright holder gets at least half that much. You know, it's like a couple extra cent for Taylor Swift on top of her billions of dollars. And so if I'm going to do one, might as well do them all. So I'm going to do them all. Market report, and as you can see, down again today overall. The Russell Small Cap Index up, and this again is why you want to have a diversified portfolio and not just be in the frickin' S&P 500 like so many people are. I don't know why they do that. It's why not put in the extra effort? Leaving money on the table doing that. But basically a more normal down day rather than the big down day yesterday. What else we got here we want to check on the rest of the planet as always, see what our neighbors on the world are going. Everything down in Europe, mostly down in Asia. So it's not just here. The US dollar is down to the euro, but up over the Japanese yen. It is down to the British pound, low. Up against the Canadian dollar, sorry. And it is down to the Australian dolomite, Australian sednar. To the US dollar. Adobe reports tomorrow. Ulta Beauty on the, what is that? Thursday. Apple and Google down. All the rest of the top 6 stocks on the Google are up. At least a little bit. 0.08% is not that much, but it's better than 0.07%. See what we got as far as news here. Who is that? Hudson Bay closing. RFK Jr. rattles food companies with a vow to rid food of artificial dyes. All right. I mean, you would think the dye doesn't have that much to do with it. Maybe it makes it look a little bit better. All right, NVIDIA up, 1.66% today. So some single stocks are up. And so depending on your breakdown of the mutual fund, the managed mutual fund that you should be having in retirement, depending on that breakdown, you lost more or gained more than the index shows. Or in the case of like large cap, maybe your large cap one, maybe that lost less money than 0.18%. So we got for some news, CNN Business stocks are volatile as investors say market is sick and tired of Trump's tariff chaos. All right, well, I got an idea, investors. Don't be so reactionary and react to every little thing that happens. Because you got another story that says NVIDIA stock has been brutalized. Here's the big disconnect. Investors appear worried about the health of AI spending, but big AI customers don't seem hesitant, an analyst notes. So the market's still there. People are still going to buy stuff, especially tech. People love tech. Ran across this in, where was this? Was this on Instagram? I think this was on Instagram. And it is a Taco Bell receipt from January 30th, 1992. And this person got a tostada for 59 cents, a Taco Supreme for 79 cents, a Fiesta Soft, like soft taco, I guess. Fiesta Soft Taco for 39 cents, and a Mexi Melt for 79 cents, and sour cream a quarter by itself, which that was a lot. I mean, that was our biggest problem back then. The sour cream that cost 25 cents. And like whatever it was, 25%, 25 cents or more for like a cheese to add to anything. That was our biggest problem back then. Medium Mountain Dew for 79 cents. Total of $3.60 and $24 tax. So fun times. $3.84 for all that. And 1992, what was that? 8 and 25. 33 years ago. Yeah, that's been a minute ago. So I just thought that was interesting. A real world example of the inflation. Did I do that one? I did not do that one. All right, we got, we're on reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And we sort by new, and we go to the bottom so we don't miss any questions, because I have run out of questions before. There's only 1,000 at a time on here. And where are we at? 6 days ago. Elderberry Fit 7952 needs help. So let's see. There's the ellipsis. So let's open the rest of it. Oh my goodness gracious me. It's a lot. So I believe my spouse has a spending problem, but she says she doesn't. Of course. And I don't know how to help her. When we were dating, she had to borrow some money from me to pay her rent due to getting eviction notices, but never got paid back for it, as well as some other things. Okay, so guess what? Guess what? You ignored it and married her anyway, right? Right? So that would be what we call a red flag in the business, my friend. I knew how much rent was and how much she made as a single mom, and I could physically see why she was short and got forced into that rental by a friend, forced in quotes there. Yeah, she chose to do that. She told me that normally she was good with money, that it had just been a rough, yeah, and so definitely just trust the person that, oh, this is not normal for me, but it's just been a rough couple years, that's all. And took her word for it. We didn't want to live together until we were married because of our beliefs, but you could have still found out more about her thoughts on spending and so forth. instead of, like, some people don't bring it up at all until it becomes a problem like this. And that is dumb as crap, to get married without having a financial problem, a financial conversation rather. And so people always think I'm joking, but bring up Dave Ramsey on the first date. You don't have to say Ramsey necessarily, but you can talk about general thoughts on finances. And you can see if there might be a problem. And then, it should never there should never be a way where it gets too much for your not liking it, because you should be aware of everything financially going on, unless you have separate finances, which is not what Mr. Ramsey recommends. And so you should be able to have like those conversations and do that early on, so that it doesn't go into problems like this. When we got married, I did not put our bank accounts together. Okay, and that allows her to keep it secret until what? Until she asked for more money or something? Let's see. Together because I wanted to make sure that we didn't end up foreclosed upon, as I had a house that had previously bought. All right. I have been paying all the bills, added her car insurance to mine, and sped up internet due to more people. Who's the more people? Just her. Out of my account, and asked her to buy groceries and her car payment and her cell phone bill out of her account. Well, her car ended up getting repoed. Yeah, and so a lot of times what the spouse that is doing stuff like this, when you have the account separate, they like want to always wait too long, because they think, well, I'll fix it before I have to talk about it with my spouse. And as you can see, that doesn't happen a lot of the time. And I had to get involved too. I would, I told her I would if we went over her budget. Okay? All right. And that would be a good compromise, I would think. I budget, and she had $200 left over for free spend after what she told me. I spent $2,000 to get her car back and had to personally guarantee the loan. Uh-huh. She didn't even send me money for the first car payment after she hadn't paid for a couple months. That was back before they were married, I guess. But you married her anyway. Again, married her anyway. Why you do that? Then I found out that she didn't tell me the full truth of what bills she had when we went over the budget. I told her that I was unhappy and that I felt lied to and misled. Well, you were. I asked her if she felt like she was good with money, and she said yes. Well, people are in denial about that kind of thing. She has also taken money from other family members and friends and not paid back. Has paid sometimes small amounts. Okay, my question is, I feel like for me, the weight, and I want to pay off debt, but she keeps putting me into bad positions and doesn't think she has a problem. How do I fix it? Tried to get her to counseling. You need to go as well, sir. I mean, you're the one that married her anyway, despite numerous red flags. Get her to counseling, and also not communicating enough with her about this. But can do online, and I feel like not effective. Doing a lot of feelings like here. I don't have a way for her to hit rock bottom, as now it's my credit online. Okay, well, we don't care about credit score, so that shouldn't matter. Since I personally guarantee the car and all I ask for is groceries. Why is it? This is okay. Let me finish it and then I'll go. I feel like, again, so much feeling like for this person. Dude, come on. Do less feeling like. She's an addict that no one can get her help. She might not be an addict. She might just be normal, where you're not being intentional with money and you don't care to be. That's not necessarily an addict. So it may not be that much, but you guys still need counseling, and not to get her to go, because you're not perfect. Sure. Um, but yeah, that would be the thing. Counseling for the both of you, and you both fix it together and figure out what you can do about it to make your lives better. And the far as what was I gonna say before? Boom. Where was it? Can't do that. I should have said it at the time. It was something that he said, like, I told her to do that, and then she did that, and then I gave her money to do this, and she did that. It's not like a friend of yours. This is your spouse that you're talking about here, and you're not talking about her like a spouse. It sounds like a bad friend that you shouldn't lend money to anymore, is the way that you're talking about it. And you certainly don't have to stay married if it's a deal breaker for you. But again, that's what you would go to counseling to see if you can repair it, which I'm assuming you would like to do. I said, especially since you would probably like some of her income to pay for that car loan that you guaranteed. People are nutty, and so you do need help, you as well as she does. So you both. It's not, oh, well, I'm doing everything perfect. You just go to counseling and do that. So, and it doesn't matter if you feel like that, like anything, any of the stuff that you feel like, it's not about that. It's about what's actually going on, and the way you find out is you have more conversations about it. And often in these situations, they don't talk about it because they don't want to have the confrontation. Fine with complaining about it on the online, but don't want to have the confrontation. How many bank accounts? What up, RK? What up, Civ? Got me thinking because I want to do it right with the new business. Could you explain how the proper way would be to go about it? Okay, so you're talking about a considerable amount of cash to do this, it sounds like, because you don't want to invest for a while. And so this is not going to be like something that you start on your card table and build it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You want to start right away with a business location, that kind of thing. And so that's expensive. So this would be a step 7 type of business that you wouldn't start this business unless you can dumb it down and maybe lower the scope of it so that it doesn't have to be like that, and it can be just something you do on the side for right now, because you don't even know necessarily that you will like doing that. But yeah, so you should wait till step 7 to do that. So it is kind of card table. Okay, well, you would let the business grow as it is, right, with a front address. Yeah, so see, that's the problem. The front address means you have to rent a space. Or some people do this kind of stuff and they go ahead and buy a building, with a mortgage. You would not do that, of course. That has to be paid for. Anything with a business has to be paid for completely in cash. And so that's why you want to make sure you are covered and your life is fine, regardless of whether you lose all the money that you put into it. So that's why it's a step 7 thing. So your mortgage would need to be paid off. And obviously all the other baby steps taken care of as well before you would even think about doing that kind of thing where you save up that kind of money. Right. You wouldn't do that. Right. So that's what I'm saying. You know, don't want to kill the dream. Not a dream killer, but like Dave Ramsey says sometimes, I'm not killing your dream. I'm preventing the nightmare. So I mean, because you don't know. If we could see into the future, we'd know if it would all work out. But most businesses do fail. So I don't have a mortgage. Renting is cheap here. Okay, all right. And so it would just depend on how old you are and whether you're already set right now as far as the amount that you would need because in retirement, because that has to stay there and be there regardless of what happens to this business. And so you probably aren't in a situation where you can put that much in there. Yeah. Um, yeah, do the 15% because that's all you should be doing. But I mean, you don't really, I mean, I guess you're in baby step 7 then, since you're renting by choice. Um, and assuming you don't have any other debt or you don't have any debt at all, and you have your full emergency fund and you are investing and you don't have children, right? So that would put you on baby step 7. So you could do that. Yeah, and you certainly could do that. And so if any of that investing is not in a retirement account where you can take it out, bad time to take it out now with the market being down a bit. And so, but if it's in any kind of account that you can withdraw it with no penalties, you could use that to start the business. But yeah, the idea is constantly 15%. So to make sure that you're okay in retirement, no matter what happens with this business. Okay, I'll check. Right after this question. See if there's anything else to follow up with. This is Pen Artist. How many bank accounts? So the general rule on this is, you don't have to do, you shouldn't do a thing like I saw on a financial show one time. I talked about this before. Ramit, I believe, was the guy's name, first name, the financial advisor guy, and he had a couple on there, and the husband said, I like to spread my money out across like 5 or 6 different banks because then it seems like more money. No, it doesn't, because it's still the same amount of money. It's just split around. So people have things going on in their head that are crazy. People are nutty for sure. And so, but as far as the how many bank accounts, um, generally it would be you don't want to open a ton of bank accounts as well if there are fees on them for having them open. So if it's a free account, I'm fine with you having as many as you need in order to stick to the budget. Let's see. Husband and I are 100% debt free. Excellent. 6 months of expenses saved. In the emergency fund, we have 15% going to retirement. Kids are done college. Okay. And we do not own property. We are long-term renters. Okay. Just like Sybil. My husband is hoping, and myself, my husband is hoping to retire in 7 years or sooner, and we will be moving to where our kids live in another state, okay, at that time. So we don't see the point in owning something where we live now. That's fine. It's not a law to buy a house. A lot of people see step 6, which is pay the house off early, pay the mortgage off early, and think that they have to buy a house. You do not have to buy a house. You can choose to rent forever if you want to, and sometimes that's a good idea. Let's see. We're trying to figure out the best way to keep the money that we have for sinking funds, long-term savings, emergency savings, and short-term savings. So if you could put all of that in one savings account, and keep it straight in your mind, like on a freaking spreadsheet or something, where it has the different numbers, and you don't go into the different numbers to spend on something that it's not for example. So like the short-term savings, you wouldn't like take that when it's something like out of a sinking fund. So it's so that you only, in the sinking fund, you only consider that amount that is supposed to be in the sinking fund. And some banks have different buckets that you can put it in. You can give it a name, and that even keeps it as different numbers, but they're all in the same account. So you could do that as well. One account for all and divide it up on paper. Yeah, if you don't get confused by that, if the only way you don't get confused and make a mistake is to have it in different accounts, then knock yourself out. Again, I would hope that there wouldn't be any fees on the bank account to have that different one. I'm just wondering what others would do. I could handle it personally. I could handle it in one account. So, and even the emergency savings they said as well, put all that together. I could handle it and not spend emergency fund money, for example, on anything that's not an emergency. See, I could handle that. Not everybody can. So you should do what you need to do in order to not create a problem and go over the amount of the amount for sinking funds. So if you have a sinking funds, you have $7,000 saved in it for a vacation, and then you go on vacation and you suddenly want to spend an extra $2,000, that you just take it out of one of these. That's not what it's for. See, the idea is to be intentional. The thing to do at that point would be, oh, well, I guess we're not going to spend that 2,000 since we didn't account for that ahead of time. Um, but generally, you wouldn't have, I don't know what the short term savings would be, other than another sinking fund. Why would it? What's the short term savings about? So and this person may also have too much saving happening instead of being applied to baby step. Granted, it wouldn't be more to the mortgage because they don't have one. I'm sure some of this savings is for moving. And so rather than calling it these savings names, you could call it like short term and long term. You could call it moving, and that would be your actual sinking fund. So probably more sinking funds with an exact name than these particular phrases that you're using here, I would think. Our credit union requires we have a general savings account with a small minimum balance of $50 in order to have high yield saving account with them. All right. Well, the high yield savings account at the credit union probably isn't going to pay as much as an online one. So know that to begin with. So we already have two saving accounts open to work with. Okay. You can try it with just two, but again, it's you know yourself better than I do. I mean, you asked the question as well. So sinking funds include car repairs, maintenance on two cars, car tags, vehicle property tax, vet expense for two dogs, and dog heartworm and flea, tick meds for the year. Okay, and that's all the sinking funds. So what's the long-term savings? High yield savings fund is a car replacement fund. Okay, so that wouldn't be long-term savings. That wouldn't be long-term savings. You can have a sinking fund and a high yield savings account. Doesn't have to be in the regular one. So you call it what it is, and that might help you keep it straight. Emergency fund, potential down payment on a house. Yeah, I mean, potential, that seems, I mean, as long as you are doing your investing, that's fine to have extra savings because you are on step 7. But the second you would decide to uh, buy a house in the future and start saving for a house, you're back on baby step 3 and you're not in 7 anymore. So you do want to make sure you are continuing to invest the 15%. It doesn't say anything about whether investing. How would you divide this up? Would you put the sinking funds and short-term savings together in the general save? Again, you can do it however you want to do. Would you divide this up on paper, or would you have a separate account for that? If you can have it on a paper, or it is 2025, you could do it online in a spreadsheet, and you can even do it on Google Drive or something like that, and that way you would have it on the computer. And as they say, right, in the bloody UK, Sybil, computer, or on your mobile, I think that's what they call a phone, mobile. Would you write this? Note: I don't like to have too much in my checking due to risk of death. That have had to happen twice over the years. So just keep enough to pay the bills and a small buffer. Thanks for your time and thoughts. Yeah, so I mean, thinking way too much about this, too, but you need to do whatever you can do to keep track of it all. And again, for me, that's fine. I could have it in one account and keep it straight. But some people cannot do that. Let's see if she's got anything else. Don't want to take out any, but just invest less for the next few months. Well, again, if you're only doing 15%, oh, you said you are investing more. Again, if it's in a see, because I would tell you to do that. If it's in a non-retirement account, then you can take that out without any penalty. And so I would use that if you really, really want to start this business. And if you're worried about using that, then that's a good reason to probably not do the business at all and just let it on like big cash purchases immediately and just let it grow very slowly. Sorry, I didn't get back to you. That one took, the bank account thing took longer because they overthought it. A lot of words there. Now seeking discomfort. Well, I don't know why you would seek it. Enough finds you without you having to do that. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6, which that's not as discomfortable as steps 1, 2, or 3. Checking accounts, debit cards with no foreign transaction fees. What? I recently cut up my credit cards. Wahoo! Yep, baby step 3. With my upcoming honeymoon to Italy, I want to know if there are any recommendations for debit cards that either don't charge a foreign transaction fee or accounts that have a very low percentage fee. Mainly looking into this to switch from Chase to a better bank. Any suggestions? Are you talking about one that doesn't have a foreign transaction fee? I don't know. You'd have to check on all of yours. But also, how many foreign transactions are you doing, my friend? Do I need to have the IRS look into you with all your foreign transactions? I'm kidding. There's stuff in other countries that you might want to buy sometimes. But if it's only like a couple times a year and it's not like constantly, you can just buy a Visa gift card with your debit card, and then that's just like a credit card, and so that probably would not have the fee on it. I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to, of course, read the fine print on the Visa gift card, but you could use something like that. You could see if they, if there would be a fee on a like a PayPal transaction that pulls out of your bank account. Because now I haven't done any, overseas, foreign, I haven't done any of those, but I have things now that come out of my PayPal account, so that way they don't get the checking account information, only PayPal has the checking account information. Nothing new from Zibbo. Nice GN. Is the G silent? 25-man job promotion. Should I continue to invest in 401k now that work doesn't offer matching? Well, the order doesn't change regardless of if they had matching. It's still always the same. It is match first because that's 100% rate of return on that amount. So you would do up to the match in the 401k. Next would be Roth. And that could be, if you are in a Roth 401k, that would be fine to do, but didn't say Roth 401k. Well, so we'll assume that's a traditional 401k. So the next thing you would do would be to max out the Roth IRA. And then after that, then you would go back to that 401k for anything else. Once you've maxed out once you've done the match, and then but they don't have a match anymore. So we take out the match for you because you don't have it. So you do the Roth IRA first because that's tax-free growth. And so you want to get as much of that. And also, if they have the Roth 401k option, you should switch that at work. And you don't have to close or transfer the 401k because you would have to pay taxes. That would create a tax event because you have to pay tax on all of those contributions in order to convert it to a Roth 401k. So you can just let that sit and then just start a Roth 401k, so you would have both. And then the Roth 401k would be better because no taxes when you take it out. And the growth is going to be way, 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 way more than the contributions. I have Roth IRA, 401k, personal investment accounts, and made 105k last year. Yeah, the personal, the you wouldn't be doing that until your house was paid off. You would be doing 15% into the Roth IRA and the 401k, and you wouldn't be doing extra investing on the side. 25 man, the financial bros love to do that kind of crap instead of follow the freaking baby steps. So you wouldn't do that. And of course, they like to do it and also have debt as well, which you also wouldn't do. 105k. Oh, made 105k last year with the promotion. Okay, so that's the job. Get 105k a year. Student loan debt is paid off. No other debt, no mortgage yet, and plan to marry in the next year. So that's step 7 temporarily. But you are going to plan to buy a house, so how about the balance between 3B, saving the down payment, and investing is up to you for 2 years. It can be as low as 0 investing for 2 years while you save up a larger down payment faster, and that's how you handle it. If say, I don't know, if that 105k was somewhere like California, where that's more like 50 or 60k in Ohio, for example. Let's see. I've been investing in 401k and Roth IRA for the last 6 years, putting more money in monthly in the Roth for IRA. Yeah, you definitely want to max that out for the year, and you want to do that first before putting it into 401k. My promotion has stopped doing 401k matching. Right in my head, it makes sense to just max out my Roth IRA. Yeah, that would be the advice anyway, regardless of the match. You would get the match, but you wouldn't put over the match amount even if you had a match. You would move from a match and then into the Roth IRA. And maybe put supplemental cash into my personal investment. There's no personal investments accounts. I guess you can if you are using the market to save for a down payment. Or if, you're like a normal person, and especially 25, and of course people older too do this as well, but trying to do everything all at the same time, trying to do all of this investing and have different investing accounts, investing for retirement, of course, which you should do, but then also wanting to buy a house, apparently. So that would be the reason why I would say why do a personal investment account. You wouldn't be putting it into the market unless you're going to buy 5 years from now or longer, because the market has too much of a chance of being down right when you find the house you want to buy. 10.62 year to date. Would this be a good plan to follow? Let me know if you have questions or need clarifications. No, again, I would get rid of the personal investment account and you just load up on the retirement for 15%. And after that, if you think you're going to want to buy a house, go ahead and start saving for it now. You can always put that money in the market later. Like, and you don't even have to take the personal investment account money out. You can just leave it and let it sit and let it keep making money for you. But I would put the rest just in like a high yield savings account for the house if you think you're going to be wanting to buy one sooner than later. But yeah, the kids today, man, they always want to start investing too early, and then the money's locked up behind a penalty, so they can't use it for anything, such as a down payment. West Pineapple 2795. First time homebuyer payoff thoughts. That is the idea. Step 6 is to pay the house off early. My wife and I, mid-30s, are first-time homebuyers and moved in a month ago. We were able to secure a 2-to-1 buy down, which means our interest rate is 2% lower for the year. Mr. Ramsey does not recommend buying points. Year 1 and then 1% lower year 2, and then go back to the standard rate of like 6.99 for the remaining 28 years. Okay, so first of all, you're doing it wrong by getting a 30, and if you had to get a 30 in order to afford the house, you cannot afford the house. It's too much house. So you're doing it wrong. My plan has always been to pay this house off long before 30 years. Well, that's the reason you don't even get a 30, and then it would have to be paid off. My question to the group is, should I pay the minimum for the first 2 years and take advantage of the lower interest rate and then go hard once the full rate kicks in? I'm a little conflicted with which strategy makes sense here. Well, if you're here is the Dave Ramsey subreddit, and so the Dave Ramsey advice is you pay it off as soon as possible. Now, you don't say what step you're on, so it would depend on what step you're on as well. So you shouldn't have bought the house unless you are on step 4. Like on, well, step 3B anyway, where you where you do have the full emergency fund and you have no debt. You shouldn't have bought it if you didn't have any debt. If you did have debt, excuse me. Only buy it if you don't have debt. So that's what you would do in that case. And so you do have to be investing 15%. You do that, definitely. Steps 4, 5, and 6 are different than steps 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 are one at a time in that priority order, of course. So you don't move to step 2 before you get step 1 done. It's maybe step 1, check, then move to step 2, check, then move to step 3, check, and then you're on baby step 3B and 4, and again, the balance is up to you. As far as whether you want to take 2 years off of investing and save up a larger down payment, that's up to you. Or you can do just a match. Any breakdown between the two, the split between the investing and the down payment saving, is completely up to you. And so do take advantage of the parts of the baby steps. This is the only one that is completely up to you. And of course, whether or not to get a mortgage at all, to buy a house at all. You don't have to. It's not a law. But steps 4, 5, and 6 are done all at the same time in that priority order. So just like you had a snowball amount of extra money that you were applying to debt and then applying to the full emergency fund, you would be doing 15% of gross income into retirement. And then if you have any money left over of your snowball, you should start addressing kid college, and the younger they are, the lesser that amount has to be. If you don't have kids, you don't do that step at all. You skip it. You don't do step 5 until somebody exists to do step 5 for. And then, of course, pay that mortgage off early. So if you're doing step 4, 5, and 6, as long as you're investing 15%, all the rest of it should be going to the mortgage and not doing some other dumb investment crap. So you're in that case, you're debt leveraging your house, debt leveraging the mortgage. So that would be no, in order to have extra savings or extra investing. So that would be you doing it wrong. And of course, the buying points, again, not advised either. Um, Antique Objection 990, advice for Canadians, eh? Sorry. Uh, High yield savings account, Ramsey Financial Advisors. I don't know any in Canada. I assume they would have the same type of major brokerages do business in Canada, I'm sure. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Go ahead and open it up. What time is it? Oh, okay. Hope you're all doing better than you deserve. I am. I've been struggling with some details of the baby steps. Really? Well, let's pull them up and see if there's a problem here. Let's get to the bottom of it, shall we? I have my 3 to 6 month emergency fund and high yield savings account. I'm putting away what I can afford into investments and retirement. Again, you wouldn't be doing extra investments. Unless you're on step 7, you wouldn't be doing extra. So people, again, especially the younger people, but it can be older people too, though. But especially the young financial bros, they love to do that. They love to, well, I'm going to do retirement, and then also I'm going to do extra investing too. I'm in school, so it's not consistent, but plan to when I start working full-time / constantly. Okay, so being in college, the advice is to graduate debt-free. So it's you wouldn't be investing yet. You would just be piling up cash. And that is the advice for teens and young adults that are going to college and that are still in college. And then you start investing for retirement once you get your first big boy or big girl job. Let's see. Does anyone have any advice for high yield savings account in Canada? No, I do not. I've noticed that American returns are far more competitive, up to like 5% APR. Yeah, and so they may, who knows? Who knows what the laws are over there? They may not have a way for you to do that. You may have to only have investments in Canada. So you would have to check on that. Am I missing something? Do Americans just have better returns because they have more competition where we have only 6 banks? LOL. Yeah, that could be it. But also, the Canada, the bloody UK, they all have a ton more regulations than we do. I mean, we don't even like the ones that we have. We don't like the government overreach than we have. And Canada and the bloody UK have way, way more government overreach where they're trying to control everything, and they have so many regulations and stipulations on stuff, and higher taxes as well. And so all that comes together to mean you're not going to get a good savings account or a good high yield savings account amount. And so you can check online in Canada, you can check online brokerages and banks in Canada to see if you can get a higher one. But I can't guarantee that. I don't know the laws there, unfortunately. Additionally, I'm hoping to find a financial advisor that understands the Ramsey steps, SmartVestor Pro. All right. But they don't offer this service in Canada. That's correct. How have other people overcome these problems? Well, the important thing is that you understand the Ramsey steps, and then you can explain it to the financial advisor that you have, and you say, this is what I'm going to be doing. And so I need financial advice from you as far as how to do that in Canada. I've had investment financial advisors in the past, but as Ramsey teaches on the show, they don't have the heart of a teacher, right? You need to find one that does have that because they can teach you about the market and investing. And, if they say anything that's not in sync with the baby steps, you can say, okay, well, that part I'm not doing because it doesn't say that. It says pay the house off instead of investing more. And so the problem with these teachers, uh, or financial advisors being teachers, this is their job and they're trying to make the most money they can out of people. And so sometimes they get kickbacks to recommend a certain fund to you, and that fund sucks. And sometimes they do it. Let's see. So I didn't learn about investing, right? Which turned me off from the system as a whole. So I mostly self-manage. All right. Well, if you're making more by self-managing than you were with them, then you're doing better off with him. And then he actually was probably putting you in bad stuff, because he gets a kickback on it, perhaps. Or also, it could be something as simple as, well, I'll just put you in this set of investments because it's prepackaged and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to look further. I don't do any research. So it could be just laziness as well. But if you're self managing and you're doing that and you understand it, or could with even more research into it, self managing is fine as well. So you can teach yourself because everything about investing, everything about every managed mutual fund is on the internet. And so all you have to do is try to understand it. And granted, some people won't be able to. Some people get overwhelmed, I guess, by it, just because, it's not just something you're trying to teach yourself, it's something you're trying to teach yourself, but oh, I don't want to do it wrong because I might lose money, that kind of thing. So, but this person sounds like, since I say I'm mostly self-managed, mostly, and again, I need to get the mostly clip from Aliens into my streaming software so I can play that whenever mostly comes up. Did I get everything on this? Yeah. So again, I don't know. You can Google. I would Google. Why are there not 5% high yield savings account in Canada, but there are in America, and it would probably tell you. So, but yeah, finding a Ramsey-esque person in Canada might not be a financial advisor might not be the easiest thing to do. And stop having all those regulations. Too many regulations. And taxes, of course. At Wits End, 1996. How do you keep friendships on baby step 2? Well, that can be a problem. Keep getting invited to places by people I've known for a while but can't afford it right now. I know I need to get rid of my debt in the next year. I'm single, income, and get paid once a month. Okay, so if you are only going to be friends with them if you do the things you get invited to that cost money, if that's the only way they want you as a friend, then they're not your friends. You're just hanging out with them because you are willing to pay for whatever the group decides to do. And so those aren't really your friends. If they're going to drop you because you're trying to make your finances better, then you don't want those people as friends anyway. My friends will invite me out, and those hangouts usually end up being about $50 to $100. Yeah, so that's a NAR, as they say in Australia. NAR, not gonna do that. We can go do free things or really, really cheap things. We can go do those sometimes. And if they don't want to, then they don't want to hang out with you bad enough. And so, not a real friend. Again, I tell my friends that I need to cool it on spending and that I will get back to them. They say, okay, and invite me again a month later. Okay? Yep. So, I mean, that's what. And so, if they don't talk to you in between time, guess what? They're not your friend either. So, more it's just like a hangout group, apparently, and it has to be somewhere that costs a lot of money. I told one person that I needed a rain check, and they invited me out again a week later. Well, because you didn't say, maybe you're not, maybe this person hasn't been honest with them saying, I don't want to spend money, maybe embarrassed or something like that. But you're better off than them if they have debt and aren't doing anything about it. And so that's the problem. You need friends that are actually going to be friends to you, and it's not dependent on you spending any of your money when it should be going to debt. Some don't even want to take no for an answer. It's a little annoying. I'm to the point where I want to just ignore calls, text. No, you just have to tell them and say, okay, if it's gonna cost more than, I mean, you can set a budget for your fund money per week, and it can be like, $5, $10, something small to do. And if it costs more than that, then you can't go, and just tell them in advance. See, I don't think you're telling them the entire story. You're just trying to say something. No, rain check and all that. That's not it. Or, about, you did say cool it on spending, but you didn't say I'm trying to pay off my debt too. And so a lot of people don't like to get into finances with them, but they're forcing it to be a financial issue because they don't want to do anything, apparently. They don't want to do any kind. I mean, I would ask this person, have you ever done anything with these friends, so-called friends, that didn't cost any money? I don't mind not going because ultimately my friends don't want to pay their debts, right? And I don't expect them to pay for mine. How do you handle this? Yeah, you can't do that. You can't hang out with them when all they want to do is spend money and not worry about their debt. You don't want to spend money and you want to pay off your debt, so you guys are not in the same place. And so, that's something you don't want to do. And it's kind of a similar situation when somebody, like, or a family member, even this happens. Dave gets calls about this occasionally, where somebody will in the family will say, "Oh, hey, we're going to Jamaica, and you can stay. I got enough rooms where you can stay in a room for free. If you're on baby step 2, that's still a no because you still have to pay for food and other things that are happening there other than just the place to stay. So that's a no, regardless, even because they are giving you something. But anything that they give you that requires you to spend more money is not helping when you're on baby step 2, and they should not take them up on that. And so again, I'm going to question if they're really friends. Are they really friends, or are they just hangout people and you're no good to them if you don't go to that place and spend 50 to $100? So that would be the dealio on that. And yep, might get new friend. Engine blown. Edited to say, okay. Let's just read the edited part and see if that gives the gist of it. I'm not super mechanically inclined, so according to the mechanic, the engine is getting 0 oil pressure when idling. Obviously not good, and I believe he said around 18 when at operating speeds. I drive about 10 miles a day and thinking it's just keeping it until it literally can't drive anymore since it's paid off. Yes, do that. Keep my wife in her paid off Honda Civic and save money in the meantime, and whenever it does officially blow, then get something else to go to, or go to one vehicle since she won't be working anymore. Yeah, so yeah, do that. It's drivable. I drive it to mechanic shop, but definitely not something I want my wife in. Well, she's not in it. You're the one driving it, right? She's in the Honda Civic. So yeah, so you answered your own question. Good job. Good job. It doesn't make you a financial coach, but you answered your own question. Oh, let's do one more. Why not? Baby step 2. How difficult could it be? And it's not even, it all fits right there as well. Baby step 2, flare. Baby step 2, I'm officially in baby step 2. Now I have 18 $1,600 in savings, and I'm planning to start paying down debt when I get paid at the end of the month. I get paid monthly. My question, should I withdraw the 600 from my savings and put it on debt, leaving just 1,000, or does it really matter? Well, so you see, where was it? I was already there. So baby step one says save $1,000. Doesn't say and add 1,600, or even if you already have that in savings when you start the baby steps. It doesn't say if you have 1,600 in there already, that's okay. You just keep that. It says $1,000 right there. $1,000. $1,000. It specifies right there. It doesn't say have whatever amount you feel like for you, whatever amount you want. It doesn't say that. It says $1,000. So you would think that would be self-explanatory. Does it really matter? It matters, because you want to get rid of your debt quickly. Speaking of quickly, here's another one that fits in a small space here. Scribbles Cat Advice Emergency Fund. Okay. Low income mama with stay at home dad. I recently asked about emergency fund. Does it make more sense for me to have a larger emergency fund with no D on it, 1,000 to 6 to 8,000, because I won't be able to recover from a huge loss emergency? No, it's not supposed to be enough. It wasn't enough 30 years ago. People freak out. They go, oh, that's not enough. I don't feel comfortable. You're not supposed to feel comfortable. You are supposed to want to get rid of your dumb debt ASAP so that you can save up a full emergency fund. So there's a reason the baby steps are like they are, and you feeling comfortable on baby step one is not something that's a priority for this advice. So you don't have to take the advice. Most people will not do that. And separate, I have the 1 year emergency fund sitting in. So MTFSA, that is a, oh gosh, what is that? TFSA. And so, yeah, people are in a tax-free savings account in Canada, speaking of Canada. Where were we? So yeah, so that's a no on that. You would take that out and pay off your debt. Unless there's a penalty there. I don't think that's a retirement account. But if there's a penalty, you would treat it like a retirement account and just leave it in there and not use it to pay off debt. But otherwise, you would be... So you see, just like this person here, 2 questions in a row. So you see, to me, logically, when you see baby step one, save $1,000 for your start emergency fund, to me, that means, oh, I have more than $1,000, so I should apply that to the next step, which is pay off debt. I don't know why people don't understand that, except that they don't want to, because they want to keep the extra savings. And if you want to do that, again, you can do that, but then why bother calling an emergency fund? Why bother applying Dave's advice to your situation? If you don't want to do his advice, why be on the Ramsey subreddit? And what would you do here? Not what would Dave do? Because if something fails, 400 to 700 paycheck weekly won't rescue me. What would you do? I would follow the baby steps, because that's the proven way to get this stuff done. Millions of documented cases in places where people are having extra savings. There's no documentation on that. So that would be up to you. So what's the one for tomorrow? 401k or pay mortgage and then monthly pay versus weekly. Alrighty. Once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free, yes, no cost to you, financial coaching consultation assessment. If you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can do that at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That link's in the ticker below and also in the video description. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com for any reason at all, anything financial or anything on my YouTube channel. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, CashApp $coachstevemoney or Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey Show, Aftershow show, until further notice, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is the time when the Ramsey Show is off of YouTube, and that's when I start. Alrighty. Much appreciated for anybody watching, live or doing it later. And as always, subscribe, like, that's the thumbs up button, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every single day.